Let's talk about
That's
the
a
last
fast
thing.
track to the disabled
Rob,
list
if you
at my
can pull
house.
up what's going on with real estate commissions, if you can pull this up, a lot of guys in the real estate industry are calling me and they're talking to me about this, and we may bring somebody on board to go a little bit deeper into this. Rigged federal U.S. court awards $1.8 billion in damages after major realtor firms found guilty of conspiring to inflate commissions on home sales, and it turns out that it was only the beginning. So if you can go a little lower so we can read this, Rob. Zoom in a little bit. A new federal class action lawsuit was filed in South Carolina alleging the NAR and prominent real estate brokerage firms like Keller Williams colluded to artificially inflate agent commission rates, increasing costs for home sellers in the state. Go a little lower. And the lawsuit filed November 6th. Okay. In Missouri case, the federal court awarded $1.8 billion in damage, which could be tripled to more than $5.3 billion, according to Reuters, if the realtors are found to have breached U.S. antitrust law. What's the deal with broker commission? The lawsuit in Missouri is now South Carolina, and now South Carolina are all about real estate broker commissions, which typically is around 5 to 6% of property selling price in the U.S., and it's split 50-50 between buyer's agent and seller's agent. At the heart of the complaint is that they have wrongfully impacted competition. Okay, so this is the number they're trying to get it to. You know how it shows 5 to 6%? So let's do a basic number.
Yep.
Say somebody sells a $500,000 house. I'm selling my $500,000 house. I'm the homeowner, okay? You are representing Tom. Tom wants to buy my house. Okay. You're his realtor. Adam is my realtor. I sell the house. There's 6% in commissions, let's just say. He gets 3%, you get 3%, okay?
I'll deal with that.
So 3%. So
you're splitting 30 grand, 15 and 15.
You're splitting 30 grand, 15 and 15. And let's just say if he's working at his real estate firm, he gets paid 50%. Yeah. He's making $7,500. You're making $7,500.
I can live with that.
Some are talking the fact that they want to make that 5 to 6%. They want to turn it into 1 to 2% and allow me to give a tip.
What?
Let me explain. So, for example, that $500,000 house, I said, guys, I'm only doing 2%. Okay. So he gets 1%, you get 1%, which is what?
$5,000.
So you got 2% on $500,000 is $10,000. You guys are splitting $5,000. You're at 50% commission, so you're making $2,500. But I get to choose to put a tip there. So let's just say I say, guys, I'll tip you another $100. Okay, I'll tip you another.
What a crap!
Can you imagine
what? Is that what it is? Is that what it is?
You kidding me? I'm getting calls and texts from these realtors talking about what if this happens. What do you think about this? What do you think about? Some of them are getting into insurance, but a lot of them are calling asking, "Do you actually think this could happen or not?" I don't know if I'm with it. I am not with them removing that 3 to 6%. They're trying to make that. They did this to the mortgage industry. Mm-hmm. Years ago, mortgage industry, they had something on the back end called the correspondence commission, which guys were making a lot of money on the back end with the correspondence checks that was being paid out by New Century, Countrywide, all this stuff. But if it goes this direction, real estate's going to take a hit with some of the bigger players. Tom, what are your thoughts on this yourself?
Well, commission adjustments have been happening at the high end of the market for years.
Yeah, I was just
at the high end of the market, let's say, and this is going to sound really big to people, but a $5 million house sells, and if it's a 6%, that's $300,000 that the seller put out there. Now, there's real cost in there, but title insurance and a lot of other things don't cost $300,000. So now let's split it. 150 for each side, and then if that is split, say, 66%, the realtor gets a $100,000 commission to sell the one house. That is a little bit less than 2x the average income of the average American. So that's pretty big. And so usually what will happen at the high end, they'll say, okay, we'll do a 6% commission on the first $500,000 and we'll do 2% or something thereafter. And then you'll even see sometimes in the listing saying, flat 2% commission. And so they're letting the buyer know what kind of stress is or isn't on the seller. So the adjustment commission has been going on for a while. The other side of it is Redfin, Zillow, and OnlineRealtor.com have slowly removed a lot of the benefit that your realtor gave you. The realtor used to do real research and go through the MLS and bring you a package of homes to look at.
Right.
And then they would say, hey, Vinny, You're talking about having a child next year. If you're here more than 10 years, or when the child will now be like in 3rd, 4th grade, this school district over here is by far the best in the city. Realtors used to provide all that. Now, they argue that they still do that. But what's happening is people are coming back, wait a minute, I get a lot of research from Zillow. I get a lot of research from Redfin. Why should we be paying this? And why should you be prohibiting the little home, the $500,000 home, from negotiating? Because the realtors won't. They'll negotiate with somebody selling a $5 million home. Before you open your mouth, before you get upset, we will adjust our commission to get the big listing, the giant listing. But the average homeowner says, gosh, 6% on this, that 30 grand means a lot to me. As a seller, I'm going to give up $30,000 of basically appreciated equity in my house when I sell this. Those are the people that are in the class action that are saying, you rigged this. Why shouldn't I find my cousin Sarah who will be willing to do it for 2% and 2% or something? Why shouldn't I be able to do that? That's the root of the suit, is them saying, nope, screw you. It's 6%. You can't negotiate it. Why? Well, because I work for Keller Williams. They won't let me. That's why they're named. I work for RE/MAX. They won't let it. It's a standard deal. See right here in your listing contract, it's a standard deal. Well, not if I had a giant house. Well, it is for your little one. That's the way it goes. And that's what's going on.
I think we all know that anytime that you're dealing with, high net worth individuals or anything in the $5, $10+ million range, there's going to be some sort of commission cuts negotiated. If you're selling a $20 million house, you're not just going to let the advisor or the real estate agent take their typical 6% fee. Even in my business, if I'm dealing with a $10 million policy and the commission is going to be $500,000, they say, hey, look, man, what can we do on this? We don't want to be pigs. We don't want to lose the business. We'll cut the commission in half, what it comes down to. But for your average case, like your average house these days is worth what? $300,000? With 6% of that, okay, you're talking 5-10 grand here. How are these agents supposed to basically work and do this? Because a lot of these agents will put in money to market the property.
There's no question.
To put in all the work.
A lot of work.
It's not exactly easy to do this.
Yeah.
So what's going to end up happening are the high-end guys who are already making millions of dollars a year, they'll figure it out. There's going to be so many agents who can't even basically afford to feed their family at some point. So I'd like to see where basically this comes in, because we can look at the high-end markets. Those guys are going to be fine. They've already made their money. They've already made their mark. They'll work out commissions.
Probably haven't changed.
They're selling $10 million houses. They'll figure it out. They'll reduce their commission to 1-2%. They'll still make their couple $100,000 on their commissions. All good. It's the guy selling $250,000 houses, the woman selling $500,000 houses, that they're going to have to basically come to terms. What do you think is a fair commission for the national average?
Whatever the seller, this is my opinion, whatever the seller is willing to pay for the quality of a realtor to sell your house.
Good point.
I think that's free market. Let me decide what I want to pay my guy. Okay? So if I want to do, if a guy comes in and he's got a buyer that's going to buy the house for a number that I can't get from another realtor that's newer, go for it. Okay? If you're actually going to put in the work. I remember one time, Tom remembers this. I remember one time I sold one of my houses in LA, and his realtor was a newer realtor, and I did a favor because she was going to the same church. She comes to these multiple appointments. Adam, I am furious because she has no clue what the hell she's doing. She's never sold a house bigger than $600,000. And this is going to be her first ever $1 million home she's selling.
And you did her a favor?
You know what I told her to do? Do you remember what I told her to do?
Go back
I told
to
her,
church?
I said, don't show up when this. I said, there's only one way I'm going to continue working with you. When the client shows up, I don't want you here. Don't show up. So the client shows up, and I show the client the house, and I show the client the details, and I agree with the client with the number, and I did. I'll tell you, you take the commission, but I don't want you to be here because you're not helping out at all.
Wow.
I sold the house. Yeah, and then we moved to you. If there's anybody that knows the story,
It's Tom.
it's you and Jen.
Did you pay her a commission?
Absolutely.
She got the whole commission, but guess what? She got overpaid. She did not deserve the commission.
Why did you give her the whole
Because
commission?
the market is filled with lazy realtors. Lazy realtors should not get paid what they get paid, but a working realtor, go. I don't have a problem if a working realtor is going to go make a deal happen and a miracle happen. I'm okay with that.
So if you like this clip and you want to watch another one, click right here. And if you want to watch the entire podcast, click right here.